Ever seen a car that can drive straight off the auction block and into the lake? Or a hot rod so bizarre, it looks like it rolled out of a mad scientist's garage? Barrett-Jackson has seen it all, and we've dug up the strangest of the strange for part 5 of this wild ride. We're talking amphibious oddities, TV-famous weirdos, and machines that make you wonder, who actually bid on this? Get ready, because you've never seen a number one like this. Number 10. 2011 Chevrolet Custom Hot Rod Hearse. The 2011 Chevrolet Custom Hot Rod Hearse is a machine so blacked out and sinister, it'd give Dracula goosebumps. This beast rolled into Scottsdale in 2012 under lot 637.2 with no reserve, selling for $17,600. And trust me, it was worth every penny if you like your ride stretched, spooky, and screaming for attention. It is a fully functional hot rod, dressed like a hearse, with a Chevy 350 cubic inch V8 tucked under the hood, paired with a turbo 400 automatic transmission that makes sure this ghoulish chariot can scoot. It's new from front to back, with every inch purpose-built to turn heads and make folks pause when they see it crawl by. This hearse isn't street legal, so don't expect to drop the kids off at school with it, unless you're looking to make the principal faint. It was sold on a bill of sale only, but that didn't stop the crowd at Barrett-Jackson from swarming it. Phones out, jaws dropped. It's a huge crowd pleaser, and you can bet it drew a ring of curious bidders with folks laughing, pointing, and filming every angle. Earlier, at Las Vegas, 2011, a similar example under lot 379.1 sold for $18,700, proving there's a real market for a hot rod hearse that looks like it just rolled out of a horror movie set. These cars ran and drove great, but their main job was showing up, looking insane, and leaving a trail of "Did you just see that?" in their wake. Now, if you thought that was weird, get ready for number 9. But before then, if you love anything strange that leaves you scratching your head, hit that like button now and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the rest of the strangest machines ever to cross the Barrett-Jackson stage. Number 9. 1967 Cadillac Custom Funeral Coach Gargoyle. Meet the 1967 Cadillac Custom Funeral Coach Gargoyle. This car is more than your normal hearse. It's a Barris custom legend with enough Hollywood history to fill a spooky film festival. Originally built by Barris Custom Industries for the 1980s movie Gargoyles, this Cadillac funeral coach was made to be seen. Before its days of fame, George Barris had famously argued that the Munsters didn't need a hearse, pushing for the Munster coach instead, but later decided to take a hearse and turn it into something unforgettable. The Gargoyle has a 427 cubic inch V8 with a removable blower and an automatic transmission, giving it both brawn and the sinister charm you'd expect from a hearse turned Hollywood star. It features a chop top by Dick Dean, suicide doors, and that iconic purple metal flake paint with airbrushed gargoyles crawling across its body. You'll spot custom spiderweb wheels and a matching steering wheel, a padded leather top, and lake pipes that scream custom car culture. This hearse has appeared in Bitch Slap, Monster Garage, Monster House, Tim Timebomb's Rock and Roll Theater, and even made a cameo as the PR hearse for Mötley Crüe's final concert tour. All bad things must come to an end. Before it joined the Midwest Dream Car collection, it spent Halloween nights hauling the girls from the Playboy Mansion on The Girls Next Door. The Gargoyle is special not just because of its Hollywood pedigree, but because it's the pure, unfiltered creativity of Barris Custom and the custom culture that turned a funeral coach into a piece of art. Barris himself loved that new generations of builders were keeping the spirit alive, even if these days designs are made on computers instead of with a hacksaw and a torch. As he put it, "It's wonderful to see they're becoming creative. They know how to put it together. They know where to weld the seams. They know how to make it look." Number 8. 1926 Ford Model T Custom C-Cab Delivery. The Reaper's Ride. At number 8, we've got a ride that's straight out of a Halloween fever dream, and it sold at Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale in 2008 for $55,000, no reserve. They called it the Reaper's Ride, and you can see why the moment it rolls into the room. This one-of-a-kind 1926 Ford Model T Custom C-Cab Delivery was built by Custom Coffins in 2006, but it's titled as a 26 Ford, giving it a twisted blend of classic and chaos. Under that stretched-out, Hearse-style body, there's a blown 468 big-block Chevy engine, pushing an estimated 875 horsepower through a race-prepped Turbo 350 transmission. This thing had organ pipes poking up like chromed-out skeleton fingers, and a 137-inch wheelbase that gave it that low, looming coffin look as it crawled across the auction floor. What really sealed the deal was its transparent mirrored windows and coffin-shaped seatbacks inside, wrapped in black, creased velvet. It wasn't just a showpiece. It was built with a flame-throwing system that spits fire from the roof. You can't get more metal than that. When the Reaper's ride fired up, the crowd at Barrett-Jackson wasn't ready. The sound of that big block screaming, the organ pipes howling, and those flames shooting out had spectators pulling out cameras and jaws dropping across the floor. Judges at indoor shows were baffled by it, unable to decide if it was a serious build or a gothic fever dream, but it raked in attention from the media and crowds alike. It was part hot rod, part haunted house, and all attitude, reminding folks why these custom oddities get so much love at Barrett-Jackson. If you thought a Hearse could never look cool, this Reaper's ride would change your mind real quick. Number 7. 1966 Mercury Comet Funny Car, Gate Job. This is a car that drag racing history owes everything to. It's the 1966 Mercury Comet Gate Job Funny Car, the lone surviving example out of only 5 ever built, and it was hammered down at Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale 2010 for $176,000. This was the grandfather of all funny cars. In 1966, Lincoln Mercury decided to drop the hammer on Chrysler's altered wheelbase match race cars by rolling out state-of-the-art fiberglass-bodied flip-top Comet funny cars that would rewrite the rules of drag racing. The Gate Job was the one that survived, carrying with it all the stories from the age of drag racing. Built on a Stage-Wyloggy Brothers steel tube chassis, it came loaded with a 427 SOHC Cammer engine built by Earl Wade, and at just 1,940 pounds, this car ran down the track, and it made competitors rethink everything they knew about going fast. It even had some firsts in the industry: the first Stage 1 chassis, the first automatic transmission in a flip-top, and the first escape hatch. This car was so ahead of its time that when it showed up, people like Dino, Don Nicholson, and Arnie the Farmer Beswick suddenly found themselves on the losing end of the Christmas tree. At the auction, when this flip-top Comet was rolled out, folks knew they were looking at a piece of history. This was the car that wore the wild cinnamon pearl over sunset gold paint, applied by Paul Shidlick himself, and the pinstriping was done by Paul Hatton, who returned in 2009 to touch up his original work. Every inch of this car showed nostalgia for the mid-60s drag racing scene, when Detroit was throwing everything it had at match racing to one-up the competition and win on Sundays. The Gate Job held court at Barrett-Jackson with an undeniable presence. Its lightweight, tube-frame engineering and nitro-burning 427 Cammer power made it an instant legend, and owning it meant owning a piece of drag racing's wildest chapter. 6. 1976 Chevrolet Vega Wagon Muffler Car. We've got one of the quirkiest parade pieces to ever cross the Barrett-Jackson block: the 1976 Chevrolet Vega Wagon Muffler Car. This one sold at Scottsdale 2022 with no reserve, hammering down at $16,500. Now, let me tell you, this wasn't some Diora 2 replica, but it sure took inspiration from those legendary Hot Wheels curves with its own hot rod exhaust aesthetic. Built in the 1990s by a local muffler shop, the Muffler Car became a local celebrity in its own right. It sat out front of the shop, drawing in customers with its outlandish design, then rolled through parades, political rallies, and small-town events, dropping jaws and making folks laugh. Underneath all that quirky styling was a V6 engine paired with a 3-speed automatic, which was a big step up from the Vega's usual inline-4. It had power steering, power brakes, and in its final years before hitting the auction, the car got fresh tires, paint, interior, decals, and a full mechanical checkup. So while it looked like a rolling muffler sculpture, It actually ran pretty solid for a promotional parade car. The Vega itself was a subcompact legend, innovative with its all-aluminum engine, yet notorious for rust issues back in the day. This muffler car beat that reputation, turning the Vega into a conversation piece that blended local business creativity with classic American weirdness. When it rolled onto the Barrett-Jackson stage, folks didn't know whether to laugh, take pictures, or start bidding. But that's the beauty of it. It's a piece of small-town history, a local icon turned collectible oddity, and for $16.5 grand, someone drove off with a piece of American parade legend. Just imagine the scene at your local cruise night when you pull up in a muffler car inspired by a Hot Wheels fantasy, complete with the nostalgia of small-town parades and the confidence of a custom V6 Rumble. You'd be the talk of the lot. Number 5. 2007 Blastoene B72 V12 Roadster. Now, we're taking it up about 10 notches in size and strangeness with the 2007 Blastoene B72 V12 Roadster, a jaw-dropping machine that rolled across the Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale block in 2008, pulling in a hefty $522,500. This car is a 19.5-foot-long, 8-foot-wide rolling piece of art, built by the famed Blastoene brothers, Michael Leeds and Randy Grubb. These guys are the same mad geniuses behind Jay Leno's tank car, and the B702 was their first new creation offered to the public. Under the hood sits a gargantuan 702 cubic inch V12 engine, originally used in GMC's 2.5-ton trucks back in the 60s, pushing out 650 pound-feet of torque at just 850 RPM on regular pump gas. They paired it with a modern 4-speed Allison automatic, a 9-inch Ford Currie rear end, and 4-wheel power disc brakes. So even though this beast weighs 4,800 pounds, it drives smoother than you'd ever expect. But it's the body that stops everyone in their tracks. Hand-formed aluminum, inspired by the grand French classics of the 1930s. Think Bugatti and Delahaye curves, but on an American-sized canvas. There's a dramatic separation between the flowing body and pod-style fenders, highlighted by glass grille bars, woodlight headlights, and hand-blown glass taillights that look like jewelry under the auction lights. Finished in midnight blue with a rich maroon leather interior, the B702 is more than a hot rod. The entire chassis is either nickel-plated or powder-coated to perfection, and the oversized Lincoln Zephyr-inspired gauges complete the luxurious throwback vibe. The reaction when this beast hit the auction stage was pure awe. Craig Jackson himself said he was speechless the first time he saw it, and it's not hard to see why. The B702 stole the show wherever it went, whether it was Quail Lodge during Pebble Beach Week, the Peterson Automotive Museum, or SEMA in Vegas. People couldn't take their eyes off it. Randy Grubb said it best. "We borrowed the beautiful French curves and classic essence from the Bugattis and Delahayes of the 1930s and matched them with a gargantuan 702 cubic inch engine, resulting in the American version of these great classics." Seeing the B702 at Barrett-Jackson was like watching a steam locomotive wearing a tuxedo roll past you. Impossible to ignore. Unapologetically big, yet with the kind of elegant lines that make even seasoned collectors pause mid-sentence. Number 4. 1963 Ford Thunderbird Italian concept. At number 4, we'll crank up the weird factor with a Ford that looks like it was time-warped straight out of an Italian design house and landed in Arizona. Back in 2008 at Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale, the hammer dropped at $660,000 for this one-off 1963 Ford Thunderbird Italian concept. Ford cooked up this sleek, Euro-styled spaceship to turn heads at the 1964 New York World's Fair, showcasing its radical fastback roofline and candy apple red paint that made it glow under the spotlights. Ford's Thunderbird styling team wanted something different, so they built a plywood buck, shaped the clay model, then handed it to Vince Gardner at Dearborn Steel Tubing to lay down a fiberglass roof and deck lid that made it look like it was slicing the air at 100 miles per hour while parked. Underneath, it still packed a 390 V8 and automatic, but the focus was on those clean, flowing lines and that customized leather interior with front and rear bucket seats. The Italian hit the Autorama circuit like a celebrity on tour, showing off in Detroit, LA, Miami, you name it. It even snagged features in Motor Trend, Hot Rod, Car Life, Speed, Custom, and more. People couldn't get enough of it. But here's the kicker. Like many Ford concept cars, it was destined for the crusher. This rare bird was saved by actor Dale Robertson. You might remember him from Tales of Wells Fargo, who snagged it just before it met its grim fate. Fast forward to 2006, Tom Maruska, a Thunderbird restorer out of Duluth, bought it and spent nearly 2 years bringing the Italian back to its 1963 glory. The restoration was so meticulous that it landed on the cover of Legendary Ford and even had a multi-issue feature series detailing every bolt and stitch. When this beauty rolled across the Barrett-Jackson block, the crowd knew they were witnessing a true survivor of the concept car era. Cameras flashed, the bidding paddles went up, and the gavel came down at $660,000, sealing its place as one of the strangest yet most striking Thunderbirds ever built. Number 3. 1939 Cadillac Lasal Seahawk Custom Roadster. Coming in at number 3 is a car that looks like it came straight out of a jazz club in 1939, but with the muscle to spank a modern sports car at a red light. Say hello to the 1939 Cadillac Lasal Seahawk Custom Roadster, which crossed the Barrett-Jackson stage in 2015 for a cool $410,000, all for charity. Now, aside from being a vintage Lasal, this one was inspired by Harley Earl's original design, but reimagined by Steve Pastiner and the folks over at Advanced Automotive Technologies, the same minds behind the Buick Blackhawk concept. It was handcrafted from steel, built on a custom tube frame, and topped off with a retractable hardtop that turned it from an elegant cruiser to an open-air roadster in seconds. Under the hood, a supercharged 6.2-liter LSAV8 ripped straight from a Cadillac CTS-V, pushing out 556 horsepower, enough to rip your eyebrows off if you floor it. It had a 6-speed automatic transmission, Corvette suspension, Borla exhaust, and all the modern goodies like air conditioning, GPS, a digital gauge cluster, and power everything. Now, here's the story that makes this car even cooler. It was owned by none other than Bubba Watson, the 2-time Masters golf champ, and the guy who once built a hovercraft golf cart just because he could. Bubba's known for using his love for cars to give back, and when he rolled this Lasal onto the Barrett-Jackson block, every single penny from the sale went to Birdies for the Brave, a military charity supported by the PGA Tour. With its custom billet wheels glinting under the auction lights and that low, commanding stance, this Lasal Seahawk wasn't just strange, it was a dream made real, merging the elegance of the past with the thrill of modern performance. Number 2. 1990 Mercedes-Benz 560 SEL Nagoya Hurse. The 1990 Mercedes-Benz 560 SEL Nagoya Buddhist Temple Shrine Hearse sold at Barrett-Jackson, Las Vegas back in 2018, hammering down at $11,000. This gold-gilded shrine on wheels went for less than a decent used pickup, but it's probably the most eye-popping funeral car ever to hit American streets. Built on the rock-solid W126 Mercedes chassis, this Nagoya Hearse features a 5.5-liter V8 paired with a 4-speed automatic, so it's fully capable of cruising down the interstate or showing up to Cars and Coffee with authority. What makes this car truly insane isn't just its mechanical underpinnings, but the sheer dedication to traditional Japanese craftsmanship layered all over it. The exterior is gilded in gold leaf, with an ornate, brass-shingled roof that glows under the sun like a rolling temple. Step closer, and you'll see every inch meticulously carved and lacquered, each panel telling a different story of dragons, clouds, and temple motifs. Inside, it's just as wild. A coffin slide-out system greets you where a trunk would normally sit, surrounded by carved wooden panels and intricate gold detailing, reflecting the ceremonial nature of Japanese funerals. The front cabin? Finished in rich burgundy leather, giving the driver a comfortable perch to command this shrine down the highway, while the self-leveling suspension keeps everything composed. The crowd at Barrett-Jackson had to stop and gawk as it rolled across the block, the gold shimmering under the lights, turning heads in every direction. Reactions ranged from folks pulling out phones to record to stunned laughter and shaking heads, because this is a vehicle that's hard to believe actually exists. It was more than a car. One can even say it's a symbol of how a Mercedes-Benz can transform into a sacred transport piece that blends spiritual reverence with German engineering. The Rekyusha, as they're called in Japan, isn't just a hearse. It's a moving temple, ensuring that even your final ride is unforgettable. Number 1. 1944 GMC DUKW Amphibious Duck. Topping our list at number 1 is a truck that doesn't care if the road ends at the water's edge. The 1944 GMC DUKW Amphibious Duck, sold at Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale in 2014, paddled away for $110,000, proving there's always someone willing to pay six figures for a truck that can swim. Originally designed for World War II troop and supply transport, the DUKW, affectionately known as the Duck, was a 2.5-ton amphibious beast that served across Europe and the Pacific, including the beaches of Normandy. The name DUKW wasn't a fancy military acronym. It was simply the GM production code. D for 1942, U for utility, K for driven front axles, and W for dual rear axles. This particular Duck got a full restoration in 2007. They stripped it down inside and out, sandblasted every inch, replaced the floorboards, brake cylinders, wiring, tires, and fitted it with a Chevy 350 V8 engine paired with a 3-speed automatic transmission. Not only did it drive, but it swam about 3 times a year, making it one of the rare ducks that didn't sit in a museum gathering dust. The Duck could hit about 50 miles per hour on land and cruise at roughly 6 miles per hour in the water, thanks to the rear-mounted propeller. While it might not be the fastest thing afloat, it's certainly one of the coolest, especially when you consider you could drive it to your favorite lake, cruise into the water, and keep going without ever leaving your seat. The body of this Duck remained uncut, a rarity since many were modified for drainage after their military service. This one was watertight and fully operational. A bright red, white, and gray behemoth that drew a crowd the moment it rolled up. If you've ever taken a Duck tour in a touristy Bay Area, now you know these goofy-looking rides started their lives hauling troops and cargo across beaches under fire, not quacking around for fun. What makes the Duck so special is that it still represents pure American ingenuity and mechanical ruggedness. It's strange, it's ugly in a charming way, and it's a constant conversation starter, whether you're on the pavement or paddling across the lake with your buddies holding beers in the back. There you have it, 10 more of the weirdest, wildest, and downright craziest cars ever to roll across the Barrett-Jackson auction block. If you love discovering the bizarre corners of car culture, subscribe to the channel now and join us for even more countdowns from the world of classic car madness. We've got more oddballs and what were they thinking builds coming your way, so stay tuned.